Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Tanner's Favorite Things. I am Tanner Knight, and today we've got a big ass box. The reason that I'm opening it up here in my living room is because I have my jam space downstairs, and I just don't feel comfortable bringing this big ass box that weighs 63 pounds down the stairs. So here we are upstairs. I'm gonna open this up, unbox it up here, and I'll bring it down piece by piece, put it together once we discover what it is. So you may have a solid guess of what this is based on the size of the box, or maybe you caught last week's episode where we talked about getting a new one of these, but here we go. We're gonna start unboxing things starting right now. All right, we've got some drum hoops. This appears to be match with that one. This one, the smaller one, so this is the 14. This one is the 13. We got some pretty beat to hell heads here. But I did not buy new heads, which is potentially an oversight in this situation. And I don't have this size of tom or kick. This is a drum set, if you haven't guessed by now. Those are the hoops that connect the heads to the drums. And here, oof, really thin, crappy clear reso head. It's an Aquarian Classic Clear. Oh, I hate packaging peanuts. I've said it 100 times, and I'll say it again, I hate packaging peanuts, but at this point, it doesn't matter. The drums are here. I'm just gonna dispose of these in a way that makes sense. Oh boy, here's a big daddy kick drum. This is a 24-inch kick. This is the batter head. Here's the 14-inch reso head. I need more packaging air supplies. I used all of my last bit on a guitar I recently sold. Whenever possible, I'm a huge fan of reusing, reducing, and recycling. I must have been brainwashed as a child in the 90s. These feel like tom legs. Damn, beefy. This is the tom mount, the dual spherical mount. So interestingly enough, we have wooden hoops for this Tama Superstar drum set. Here is one of the bass hoops. It definitely looks used. Hoops are quite possibly the most exposed part of the drum set, so they do take a bit of a beating, but that's not saying that they cannot be cared for in a careful manner. I hate packing peanuts. No, here's one more hoop. Looks like the 18, which I guess I haven't gotten to yet, or maybe I did. No. There should be one more hoop in here. Okay, here we go. Shell number one. This looks like the 18-inch tom. It's huge. It's freaking massive. Here's the 13-inch. Very nice. I purchased this drum set from a shop in Las Vegas. So Max, thank you. This drum set looks like it showed up intact and really wrapped very well. He said that he's wrapped and sent drums in the past, and that's obviously evident with this job that he's done here. Got all the hardware off of this one and the previous one, which is good. That'll give me a chance to grease everything up. You should add grease to your lugs every time you take them apart if possible. Just keep everything rotating smoothly. Okay, Big Daddy. This is going to be a pain in the ass, isn't it? All right, here's the Tama Superstar 24-inch kick. I believe it's 24 by 16, so it has a couple inches of depth beyond the standard 22 by 14, which I'm used to with my Royalstar kit. But just take a look at this beautiful birch shell. This finish is called Super Maple. There's not an ounce of maple on this drum, but you know, that's how marketing works. So let me dig out the hardware. Also have the other hoop for the bass drum, again made of wood. 18-inch hoop for the tom. Everybody say it with me, I hate packing peanuts. And the reso head for the kick. That one's got a pretty crude hole cut into it, so I'm hoping that that really makes the sound project better. My Royalstar kit did not have a hole cut in the reso head of the kick. It was left untouched. And I kind of like how it sounded. And finally, we have a package containing all the lugs and hardware and washers, etc., etc. So, I think that does it for this unboxing. Let's go ahead and put this downstairs, safely that is. And let's go ahead and put this in some sort of order downstairs, take a closer look, put it together, and hear how she sounds. All right, here it is, the Tama Superstar from I think 1981, based on the serial number code, if I understand it correctly. But this is a 1981 Tama Superstar in the Super Maple finish, which again is 100% birch. I believe it's 6 plies of birch, and this was their top of the range drum set at this time. I think that they probably had some more spec'd out signature models for like Billy Cobham and other people like that, but otherwise, this is the top of the range consumer drum set that Tama made in 1980, and it's a big boy. So I plan on taking every bit of hardware in this pack here, matching it to where it goes, and putting the lugs on, cleaning these up a little bit because I'll just show you here. There's a little bit of dirt around these shells. They're not perfectly entirely clean. You can see that in some of the lugs, we've got some grime and just things that need a little attention. So I'm gonna scrub these down. I'm gonna do a little research on what I can use on this finish and what won't hurt it and what will clean up the most, as well as possibly address some of these larger gouges. Like this one here, it's just a little scratch that goes into the wood through the finish. And there's quite a few of those around this shell in particular. These toms, I think, are a little more beat up than the bass kick drum, but I think that's kind of what to expect with this vintage of drum. If it hasn't been played, I don't know, something's wrong. So let's take a look at the inside a little bit better here. It's really pretty Japanese birch. There is something printed right here. It says 6206. Not exactly sure what that means, but you can see really well here the angular seam that Tama employed on all of their drums. They did not have just a straight butted seam. They glued it at a diagonal, and they claim that that strengthened the overall circumference of the drum. And, you know, they do a lot of research over at Tama, so I tend to believe them. So that's what's going to happen. I'm going to clean these shells and maybe try to get something in these larger scratches just to prevent them from going deeper into the wood, and then assemble them, and we will hear what they sound like. So let's get to it. So I just went through the 13 and 14-inch tom with a round of the One polish. This is a guitar polish that I use, and I've just read that you can use it on guitar or on drum shells too. So that's what I went ahead and did. I did a vigorous rub with a coat of the One polish, and it really brought a lot of the shine back to this shell. Took off some of the grime where the lugs are. Not all of it, but some of that is actual indentation just from years of being mounted. But otherwise, it exposes a little bit some of the flaws by shining it up. but I think that that's probably a good step to take. Just condition these a little bit, and I wanted to show you kind of an after since we just took a look at the before with the 14-inch tom. So I'm going to go ahead and do that to the two big pieces in this drum, and that's going to take a little while, so let me get to it. All right, so I used this white lithium grease on all of my drum lugs. So I'm just going to dip it in here, lube those threads up just a bit, and hopefully that will keep this thing from creaking and cracking and doing all kinds of weird stuff. All right, it is fully together. That took a lot longer than I had anticipated, probably 3 hours total. But boy, does it look sexy, and it is huge. These toms are massive, including this big 18-inch in the back there. It barely fits in this little corner that I had for my previous drum set. So lucky that it does. I've got the mics fairly positioned to where they need to be. I got one on the kick there. And for the snare, I brought out my Tama Superstar 1982. This is a red badge Superstar snare. Believe it might actually be maple instead of birch with a maple finish, but it's a really nice snare. It's 1 year or maybe 2 years older than this kit, but it is right in the same vintage. It looks great, it matches. So let's go ahead and hear what this thing sounds like now that it's back together.